and welcome to our two-session special CGTN on the go. Today in our mobile studio, we're honored to have two special guests from Hong Kong. Both of them are two senior lawmakers and they're also successful businessmen. One of them is Bernard Chan. He's the president of the Asia Financial Holdings, and the other is David Wong. He's the chairman of Manager Provident Fund Authority. I'm very honored to have them both in our mobile studio, and in the next 20 minutes we'll be talking to them about their expectations on the new leadership and on the new cabinet lineup. And remember to follow us on Weibo, Twitter, and Facebook account. Now let's go. Great to have you both, gentlemen.
Hi, Rita.
Yes.
Good to see you.
Good morning. Okay, so David and Bernard, you were there yesterday at the ceremony when we have this new cabinet lineup. So tell us, what is your impression on these new ministers and vice premiers? And of course, is there any surprises came to you at all?
Well, I think that this is a good team. I think that these people are really mean business. I think that they're going to get the job done, and it's very clear what the mandate is and what needs to be achieved over the next 5 years. And I think that they are all under the leadership of President Xi and working as a team. So I think that we have pretty high expectations.
So what about you, Bernard?
Well, I'm from the financial sector, so the financial world is really looking forward to this new lineup, especially at the People's Banks of China, as well as the newly elected Vice Premier Liu He.
Yes.
Because he's obviously also very important in charge of the entire financial sector.
Right. So talking about our new central bank governor, Mr. Yi Gang, he is actually the protege and deputy of Governor Zhou Xiaochuan for over 20 years. So yes. Exactly, he's also an advocate for the free market reform.
Exactly.
So what is your expectations on him?
Well, I suspect that the policy will continue. I mean, because as you rightly put it, Governor Yi Gang has been with PBOC for a long time, and so I don't expect there will be huge changes, so financial reform will continue. I expect that the renminbi internationalization will continue, and also the interest rate will be more normalized.
Right.
And of course, the next big issue is the control over the capital account. How will that open up gradually?
And controlling of the financial risks, especially in the monetary reform system. And then, okay, David, talk about your impression on the newly established National Supervisory Commission, because we know it is a new anti-corruption agency that runs together with the State Council. We have now So the National Supervisory Commission reports directly to the National NPC Standing Committee, which is maybe people from Hong Kong are more familiar with the system because you have ICAC,
right,
which is Independent Commission for
Against Corruption. Yeah.
Right. So what is your observation on the newly established National
Oh, I think that this is a very major step forward because it actually takes amending the Constitution to create this new commission. So this is established at a very, very high level in the whole judicial system. It shows China's commitment to anti-corruption, and it's got the institutions now to actually eradicate corruption. I think it's a very positive step. I think it's very good for business as well, because that creates a level playing field, and it also reduces risk for business, especially for foreign business.
Right. Tell us a little bit more, Bernard, about the National Supervisory Commission in terms of leveling the playing field and reducing financial risks.
Well, first of all, as David put it, it sent a clear message, not only to China alone, but to the entire world, that China take this very seriously.
Right.
And corruption is always there, but then I think at this time we're talking about beyond just within the party. The legislation now makes it make it formalized into to everyone in China. So I think that is an important message we send to the international market. And so every players, whether you're in with partnership or in your own business, you should behave according to the law.
So institutionalize the anti-corruption agencies. And also, we've seen 26 new ministers. So any surprises came to you among all of them? Because we've seen so many new entities and new ministries being established and new ministers being elected. So anyone impressed you most?
Well, I see that obviously, especially because I'm from financial sector, so the creation of a new regulators, merging both the
banking and insurance
together under one, sending also another very clear message that we are now following the global trend. This is actually happening in many markets, that the prudential oversight now leave it to the central bank. In this case, will be PBOC will be in charge of the macro prudential oversight, versus then the market supervision will then leave it to the combined CBIRC. So I think that is also a very good message we send to the international market.
But we have seen, like, as you have said, the combined banking and insurance regulatory commission, but we still have an independent security regulatory commission. So what do you think is that behind it? I mean, okay.
I suspect the...
Yes. Hello? Okay. So, hi, Zhou Yue. Can you see us? Hi. Okay, I'm afraid we have to cut into the studio right now. That's my colleague Zhou Yue speaking there. Hello, Zhou Yue. This is my two special guests here for today. One is Bernard Chan. He is the president of Asia Financial Holdings, and David Wong. He is the chairman of the Mandatory Prudent Fund Authority. Both of them are senior lawmakers from Hong Kong. They're very successful businessmen. We've talked about their impression on the new cabinet lineup. And Bernard, maybe you can share more about your impression on the newly elected PBOC governor, as he is the prodigy and the deputy for Governor Zhou Xiaochuan for a long time. So what is your expectations?
Well, the election of Governor Yi Gang as the governor of the People's Bank of China sent a very good message to the international markets. First of all, as you put it, he has been with PBOC for a long time. So we suspect that the policy will continue. China will continue to liberalize the market gradually. Renminbi internationalization, together with the opening up with the capital accounts, and also financial risk control is important too, as we now embrace with lots of different risks, including fintech, because the risk is no longer like the typical shadow banking we're talking about. Now we have new forms of intermediaries. So these are the things that I think we look forward to the leadership of Governor Yi Gang, and together with the election of Vice Premier Liu He. I think together the two of them both have
reformers.
They're both foreign educated, so I think we all look forward to their leadership.
Right, and David, tell us about your observation on the newly established National Supervisory Commission, because it is an independent agency that runs together with the State Council. Now we have this 一府两院一委. So this commission reports directly to the NPC Standing Committee. Maybe you're from Hong Kong, you're more familiar with the system, because in Hong Kong we have the ICAC. So what is your observation in terms of its function in leveling the playing field in the financial sector?
I think that this is really a major step forward. It actually takes amending the constitution to create this new agency, and as you mentioned, it runs parallel to the other agencies in the judicial system. So this is at a very high level. It's all encompassing as well, in that previously the law is really focused on the discipline among the party members, but now all the civil servants and associates are now covered. So this is very major in that it shows China's commitment to fight corruption, which I think is excellent for business people in general, because it shows that we now can look forward to a level playing field where the rules are more transparent, and where people who want to go into corruption and things to gain advantages over their competitors, they really have to think again.
Okay, thank you, Bernard and David, for your insights. Okay, back to you, Zhou Yue. We'll continue our live stream broadcast on our Weibo, Twitter, and Facebook. You now. Okay, let's continue our conversation. Okay, just now you talk about your insights on the National Supervisory Commission and your expectations on the new central bank governor. And then on the broader sense, what is your expectations on the new leaders, especially President Xi Jinping? He's been elected as the president and Premier Li Keqiang has been elected, endorsed as the premier. So we've seen this continuity in the policy in all sectors. And Xi Jinping has reiterated many times, reform and opening up is key for achieving social and economic development. So what is your expectations on our new leadership?
Well, you know, we are still have to deal with a lot of global uncertainty. If you look at the US, Europe, and to a large extent in Asia, there's still a lot of issues, social issues, together with financial issues that we need to embrace with. So I think it's good to have President Xi and Premier Li for another 5 years to extend their current policy. I think we need to continue to reform, and the market needs to continue to liberalize, but gradually. I think the danger of today is there's so many forms of risk involving not only your traditional risks, but risks that are involving with technology. And especially China, we are now perhaps by far the #1 country with fintech enabled. So that's great. It actually leapfrogged our country, bypassing many countries, many more smart cities than anywhere else. But that comes with risks as well. So how do we mitigate those risks? I think it's important how we strike those balances. And we still have 30 million people in poverty. So I look forward to President Xi, his leadership to eradicate poverty
by 2020.
By 2020. That is actually not an easy task, but obviously in the last 5 years, they managed to lift 68 million people from poverty. So I think that's a great achievement. So I look forward to him reaching even better achievement.
So what about you?
Oh, I'm really impressed by the fact that the President Xi and the government have been so bold in setting, extremely high standards for this government for the next 5 years and beyond. So, I think that they intend to deliver, but as Bernard mentioned, the risks are tremendous, really. I mean, you talk about the financial risk, which I think that's why they are putting a lot of emphasis on financial stability and also on the anti-corruption. And but I think that one thing that's really comforting is that there's still a lot of emphasis on the continuing to reform and the opening up, which I think is extremely significant. There's no turning back for China. The Belt and Road Initiative, especially, it shows that China is reaching out to the world, of course, in a two-way flow. So I think that it bodes pretty positive for the whole nation.
Right, talking about the reform and opening up, and this year marks the 40th anniversary of the reform and opening up policy, and Hong Kong plays a tremendous role in this field. But what we're seeing is, the question I'm going to raise to you, is Hong Kong's role diminished? Or is Hong Kong still in the picture?
Well, maybe I'll take it up. I think that Hong Kong, along with the whole Pearl River Delta, really were in the forefront of reform and opening up 40 years ago, and I think that our role is hardly history by now, because there's so much more to be done. At this juncture, what China needs is financial market development, and also very high-end, business services, and these are very strong suits, for Hong Kong. So I think that Hong Kong, along with the Pearl River Delta, still have a lot to contribute.
And you too.
Well, this is a question that we ask ourselves all the time, and it depends. I think 40 years has been a long time. China has came a long way, and so they are definitely now become far more competitive than they used to be. So for businesses like in Hong Kong, even like myself in my business, well, we need to also improve to stay competitive. But there will be parts that we're going to be less competitive, but there will be new business that will surface. For example, in financial services, there will be less and less small size, like family-owned businesses, because you cannot compete in the global market, especially now with mostly now done over technology. Do you have the resources to invest in technology? So most of the smaller size local institutions are now finding itself very not competitive. But then there are new services that comes. For example, in Hong Kong, I think because of our good healthcare system, our education system, so we have many more people want to come to Hong Kong, receive good healthcare and good education. So there will be some winners and will be some losers.
Okay, we're running out of time, so we still have like 2 to 3 minutes for you to sum up, and maybe we can talk a little bit about the Greater Bay Area. People say that it is easier to build infrastructure connectivity between Hong Kong, Macau, and Guangdong, but it is a little more difficult for institution connectivity because we have to admit the mentality between Hong Kong people and mainland people are different. So how can we break down the barriers?
Well, again, this is going to be a very bold experiment. You're right. I mean, first of all, there are the physical barriers. We are talking about separate customs areas, so that creates its own natural barriers.
Yes.
But even more importantly is to how to interconnect socially. Basically, you want to make people truly mobile across the border, especially for Hong Kong people to go and work and settle on the mainland.
Right.
Well, this is something I think the central authority need to step in to coordinate with this 9th district and Hong Kong and Macau, because I'm sure each of us, each of the district have its own strength, but I'm sure everyone would want to be also competing with each other. So we don't want to waste any resources. So the central authority can coordinate among us. So we try to get the best out of the resources that we have.
Okay, as we're marching along the Chang'an Avenue, we're marching towards the Great Hall of People, and great to have you both gentlemen in our show. And unless this is the last day of the NPC session, and maybe just leave you for 20 seconds for you to sum up. What is your general impression? What impressed you most during the 2 sessions?
Well, first of all, I look forward to going home. It's been here for 2 weeks now.
It's been too long.
But I enjoy this 2 weeks because it really shows that we have now the right leaders to continue our good story, China story. We continue
China wisdom.
China wisdom. We continue want to reform and get better.
Yes. What about you, David?
A lot of things about this meeting has been unprecedented. The length of it, I mean the substance of it, the amending the Constitution in ways that were never done before, and of course this swearing in the ceremony for the President and the high officials, and this has all been very impressive. And I think it's a good opening for the next 5 years.
All right. Thank you so much, Bernard and David, for your perspectives on our new leadership and your expectations towards a new government. So that is it for our CGTN On The Go, our 2 sessions special program. Stay tuned on our more special programs on TV. Back to you.